Well, that's for sure, but you just feel that there's not as much momentum in this innings in the second half than there was in the first half.
Absolutely. Stevenson bowls to Tenduscarter, who tries to mow at this and play it through the offside, misses. It was a slower ball. Stevenson taking the pace off that, deceiving Tenduscarter, who's new to the crease. He has 4. Lawrence 28, 17th over being bowled. Essex chose to bat, and they're 122 for 3.
Quite a deliberate line that Ryan Stevenson's bowling here, isn't it? A good way outside off stump. The insurance on the offside. Interesting fielding position. It's almost like a deep backward 45 on the rope.
Next delivery, and that's going to go over deep point, and 6 goes about a yard over the boundary there, and beautifully picked up by Ryan Tenduscarter. Moves on to 10, score to 128 for 3, and the point won't be lost on Tenduscarter that Essex could do with a few lusty blows like that to take them up. From an Essex point of view, I think they'd like 160.
Oh God, yes, at least, for sure. What a hit that is. You know, that is getting on for 70 odd yards over cover, and that's gone over the head of Sam Northeast. Admittedly, Sam Northeast 6 or 7 yards in. He has to be, because it's such a big boundary, but what a hit that is.
Well, you're right. He is the only English-based player to be selected 5 years running for the Indian Premier League, and it tells you what his stock was there, because you obviously have to buy these players at auction. As Tenduscarter has cracked this one without perfect timing out to Sam Northeast, whose work has been brilliant out there on the extra cover boundary to get just the single. 129 for 3, Tenduscarter up to 11, and of course he was used as a finisher out there, and he is one of the best hitters of a cricket ball on the world circuit, even at the age of 40.
37 not out in the game at Chelmsford earlier between these two sides. Got, you know, it wasn't a winning score, Essex, but he certainly got Essex up to a decent total.
He was the only one, really. As this next ball, Lawrence has got rather under this, but we're just waiting to see if it goes all the way or is a catch, and it's gone all the way, and that is 6. And I've seen him hit a cricket ball where it's literally going to go out of sight of the roof here when I say that he didn't get all of that, but it's still gone for 6. It's Lawrence, I beg his pardon, on strike there. 135 for 3, and Essex now clearly are in acceleration mode. He's moved on to 34.
Well, some couple of great strikes in this over, it has to be said, over the long boundary side, but there were the balls that were just a little bit further pitched up, I think, than Ryan Stevenson would have liked.
Here he is again. Balls to Lawrence, comes down the wicket, almost turns this into a Yorker. He squeezed it down to long on, and Ian Holland. And they just get the single. Sorry, it's Mason Crane there, and the score to 135 for 3 at the end of the Ryan Stevenson over. Good over from an Essex point of view. There are 3 left, and they have 137 for 3 with Lawrence on 36 from 27 deliveries, and Tenduscarter has 11 from 9. Cameron Delport made 31, Tom Wesley 51, and Michael Pepper 5, with a wicket each for Mason Crane, Ryan Stevenson and Chris Woods.
BBC Radio Silent, BBC Essex, BBC Sport Online, and of course we're also on the live feed via the Hampshire Cricket website, and also that's been beamed straight through to the Essex Cricket website as well. Yeah, I think Ryan Stevenson, that last over, he tried to pitch it up and didn't quite get it far enough up there. The last delivery was much better, a bit fuller. Here's Holland, bowls, and that's a cutaway by Tenduscarter, but only as far as Weatherly at backward point. And we're in over number 18 here, so just under 3 overs left of the Essex innings, and they've been given a little bit of momentum now, haven't they? After 5 or 6 overs where it's felt as though they were treading water a little bit, really, weren't they, relative to what relative to the first 10 overs where they scored 80 odd. Here's Holland again, and that's foolish, and it's just dabbed on the onside by Lawrence for a single. Moves on to 37. It feels like he's just decided to just be a little bit more positive.
Yeah, it was well bowled that, I thought, from Holland, the virtual Yorker, and Lawrence, who'd set himself for a big hit but realised, you know, they just have to get some sort of bat on ball and rotate the strike.
39 for 3 then, as Holland comes in from that hotel end again, and bowls slightly slower ball, just dabbed down to Crane at short third man by Tenduscarter, who moves on to 13 off 11. Lawrence back on strike, 37 off 28.
Good over so far from Holland, because just 3 singles just when Essex had launched the innings with some momentum. From an Essex point of view, they desperately need these 2 still to be there at the end of the 20 overs.
140 for 3 then, halfway through the 18th, as Holland bowls. Slower ball again, it's full and it's driven up to deep mid-on. That's come out the back of the hand there from Ian Holland, who's got 2 balls left of his spell. It's gone for 32 so far.
It's, you know, if Lawrence has correctly read the pitch and how things were looking, he's done well, even though it's a very different innings from his all guns blazing 81 at Hove.
Still there, he's still got a couple of overs at least, hasn't he, to really make inroads, as that's cut away on the offside by Tenduscarter. Always scores off most deliveries he faces. The 40-year-old, he's playing, I looked at it before, he's playing his 368th T20 game this afternoon.
Knows a bit about it then, and you make such a good point, because although you think of him as a boundary hitter, but he's so good at just nudging the singles when he isn't hitting the boundaries.
Just to emphasise that point, it's been a single off every ball so far of this Holland over. Low full toss goes through the outstretched hands of Ian Holland, up to deep mid-off, it's going all the way. It looked like it come off the bottom of the bat, Dan Lawrence, but he still hit it with enough
well, technically, you could almost say to the ball, you should have caught that. But it was hit, it went past him so quickly that, you know, blink and you miss it sort of thing.
Liam Dawson's back. I wasn't sure what he was going to do. He must have had some good news from the doctor, otherwise I thought he wasn't going to come back. Myself and Liam will take you through, if you're on the live stream. In fact, if you're listening on the BBC Sport website as well, myself and Liam Dawson will take you through the break for 10 minutes. But he's back, hopefully some good news, maybe something anyway. He'll be able to give us an update on his injury. 2 overs to go here, Essex 146 for 3.
Yep, so better progress from Essex in the last couple of overs, although that was, let it be said, a very good over from Ian Holland. I mean, it was just the 1 boundary from it, and that, if he wanted to be really picky, it would have taken a miraculous reaction to catch it, but it was in the air technically. I wouldn't have wanted to get my hands or any other part of the body in the way. 2 overs to go then. Essex, you would think here, will be disappointed if they don't now reach 160, but it's taken a long time on the wind-up before getting going. Here's Chris Wood, the bowl from the pavilion end initially to Tenduscarter, and that takes a bit of the pace off the ball, which goes through. Might just have brushed something there because it seemed to be down leg side, but no wide awarded.
Tenduscarter looks at Ben Debenham a little perplexed.
Not the only one, but anyway, he must have his reasons. And, Wood comes into bowl to Tenduscarter again. 1-4-6 for 3 in the 19. Tenduscarter doesn't really time this. He's actually looking to hit the ball square on the offside. He's coming back for the second. Direct hit there might have been close, but I don't know. I think Lawrence was probably home anyway. They get 2. And Tenduscarter, even at 40, is still quicker than most players on the circuit. He's moved on to 16 and Essex to 148 for 3. 4 balls left of the 19th.
Yeah, I think it's a little disappointing from a bowler's point of view that that's 2 runs up to mid-off. You can sometimes excuse the way to our left because it's so big, but straight it's not quite so big. I think that's disappointing they got 2 there. They've changed the field.
I think you're right. This next one is slanted across the right-hander who tried to follow it, doesn't manage to get back on the ball, and score remaining 148 for 3. So 2 dot balls out of 3 deliveries in this final over that Chris Wood will bowl, the 19th of the innings.
Yeah, I say change the field, they've just changed personnel. So James Vince has backed himself at deep mid-off now to try and keep that down to a single.
Wood on his way again, left arm over. Bowls, Tenduscarter's hit a full toss out into the offside again, not perfectly timed. Goes out to Ryan Stevenson, who in his attempts to get the ball airborne, in the end didn't make it quite as good a throw as it might have been if he'd set himself, and they get back for a second. That's Essex's 150. It's taken them 18.4 overs to do so, and 150 for 4. I think a point we made earlier from an Essex point of view, they would have benefited if Tenduscarter had come in at number 5 rather than number 6. But Tenduscarter ever one to let a young player like Michael Pepper in ahead of him. And Wood will now bowl to Tenduscarter, who's made 18. Lawrence is on 42. It's another full toss. It's hit just over the leaping short fine leg for 4. And that takes Essex to 154 for 3, and Tenduscarter up to 22.
Yeah, he's gone for the Yorker there, Chris Wood, just over done it there, and in the end it's at a nice height for Tenduscarter to whip away, and he's doing it again, isn't he? Late runs, just as he did at Chelmsford earlier in this competition.
Well, if it is his last year in county cricket, which is generally anticipated it is, but I wouldn't put it past him to decide that he wouldn't mind one more. But he's certainly finishing it in good style as Wood bowls to him. He's crashed this one, and that's going away. It might even be 6. It isn't. It's bounced a couple of times on its way into the rope in front of the scoreboard away to our right. There are 2 scoreboards here, and that one's a square leg as we watch from the pavilion end. And consecutive boundaries to end the over from Tenduscarter, who's gone on to 26 off 18 deliveries. Lawrence has 42 from 36, and Essex are 158 for 3 with 1 over to go.
And Chris Wood concedes 42 off his 4 overs with 1 wicket. That 1 wicket was Michael Pepper, who bowled for 5. Now, who's bowling the last over? Looks like Shaheen Afridi, who was quite impressive earlier on in the Essex innings. In fact, we haven't seen him, I don't think, since the power play. I think off the top of my head he bowled 3 overs, didn't he?
Overs 1, 3 and 5.
Yeah, so he's back on for Hampshire. I should imagine he's quite stiff after such a long break. His 3 overs conceded just 11.
One of those was a wide. Yeah, terrific bowling. First over went for 3, second over for 1, and the third with 1 boundary in it. And it wasn't as if it was a bad ball. It was a lovely shot from Tom Westley, who met it on the top of the bounce. Just really nothing more than apparently a gentle push. Went all the way to the cover boundary. Apart from that, there was no glowing anger whatsoever off Shaheen Afridi. It's been one of the highlights of the day for me to see him in the flesh for the first time here.
Switching ends to the hotel end then, bowling to Dan Lawrence, who has 42 off 30. What's going to happen in this last over? Fireworks, I'm sure, from an Essex point of view. Hampshire were hoping to keep that quiet, but not on that occasion, as that's worked away behind square on the offside. Full delivery outside off stump, and Lawrence launched that away on the offside, and there's the 50 partnership between these two, and it's come off 29 deliveries.
Well, he is a talent, Dan Lawrence, because he can play shots with no great apparent effort that go a long way. And as I say, when he's in a bit of form, he's well worth watching.
So first delivery's gone for a boundary. Here's Afridi's round the wicket. Essex 162 for 3. There is a sort of a normal pass score here, but we need a few more here as that's full, and that's driven out hard into the covers. It's picked up cleanly by Crane, keeps it down to a single on the short boundary side. 163 for 3. Tenduscarter back on strike.
So Lawrence, if he can get back on strike, needs 3 for a 50. And Tenduscarter, 26. I think will be primarily concerned with seeing if he can add another boundary. Essex would love to get up to 170 here.
4 balls left as Afridi comes in and bowls to Tenduscarter, who works it away on the onside. They're going to run 2 here, I think. Fuller comes in off deep mid-wicket. They're already turning. The ball comes towards the keeper at a commentary end, and it's a comfortable 2.
Yep, as you rightly said, straight away they were always going to attempt the second there, and of course it's a big boundary away to our left, and it was always on, granted that 2 quick men between the wickets with a good understanding between them. We're in the middle. These 2 have had many a good partnership in both forms of the game, red ball and white ball.
So 165 for 3 then. Tenduscarter on 28. That's come off just 19 deliveries. This is the next delivery from Afridi round the wicket, and that's just guided towards the 3rd man, but there are a couple of fielders there guarding that area. Ian Holland, one of them, picks it up, and Essex will pick up just a single. 166 for 3. 2 balls left in their innings.
Hampshire's discipline with the ball has been good. No balls, therefore no free hits. Hardly a wide either, so the discipline's been very good. They haven't given anything away.
No, you're right. The run rate's a fraction under 8.5 and over throughout this Essex innings. As Afridi bowls, and that's worked out on the onside by Lawrence. Surely they're going to run 2. It's almost split the field. In fact, it has split the field really between North East and Fuller out there away to our left. And that is a comfortable 2 on the long boundary side. 168 for 3. Lawrence 1 short of a half century. Surely he will get it, because there's another ball left of their innings.
Yes, I think probably in this form of the game, players, unless it's 100 rather than the 50, are not that fussed, you know. If they'll take it if it sort of comes out, but they won't sort of deliberately farm the strike.
Lawrence with 80 in his last game. Looks like he's going to back that up with another half century here. With final delivery then of the Essex in, is bowled by Afridi, and he's not actually, because that's gone through to the keeper, and McManus underarms the throw back to the stumps, misses. A good delivery there from Afridi, slightly short. Lawrence tried to angle it down to third man, it missed, it bounced, so Lawrence won't get his half century. He stays at 49, and the Essex total stays at 168 for 3. Afridi finishes with 4 overs, none for 21, and Hampshire will need 169 for victory here. Ryan Tenduscarter finishes 29 not out as well.
Yeah, you know, it's another very good over from Shaheen Afridi there. He's gone for 10 runs, and you might think, oh, that doesn't sound too clever, but when you've got two batsmen who are among the best hitters in the game, looking very much to sort of take anything up to 20 off the final over, if you can keep it down to 10, if you then essentially say settle for that and say well bowled, and I think it was well bowled by Shaheen Afridi. Lovely to see him playing for Hampshire here. Just 21 off 4 overs. Very good effort indeed. Mason Crane, I thought, as well. Excellent bowling from him, 1 for 27 in his 4. And generally, good tidy bowling, good tactical cricket from Hampshire. And Essex, after the start they had, in the end they have sort of made decent runs over the last 4 or 5 overs. As I say, if Tenduscarter had come in at the fall of the second wicket, I think Essex would have made another 10 to 15 runs, but they've got 168 for 3, and it's fairly close, isn't it? It could go either way, this game. It all depends if Hampshire can get a couple of players to get in there and stay in.
Thanks very much for the moment, Paul Newton. We're staying on BBC Essex frequencies as well. We're staying on the online feed via the BBC Sport website, and of course we're on the live stream for Hampshire Cricket and via the Hampshire Cricket app. Paul's going to take a bit of a break here, and back with me, alongside me, Kevin James, is Hampshire's injured all-rounder Liam Dawson. Any sort of further updates on that Achilles injury, Liam?
No, it's all good news at the minute. I'm obviously a month into my recovery now, so yeah, it's very positive. It's healed, the scar's healed very well. I'm just starting some strength work now in the area, so no, we're very positive how it's going at the minute.
So was the doctor on the ground, or did you have to go and visit the doctor?
No, we have a doctor here every game. So Mark Wotherspoon's his name, and he's been around the England team for a number of years. We're lucky to have him here as our club doctor as well, so he's brilliant at what he does.
Right, let me just read out the full Hampshire bowling figures for you. Shaheen Afridi, his most economical figures to date in this competition: 4 overs, none for 21. Chris Wood, 4 overs, 1 for 42. Ian Holland, 4 overs, none for 37. Mason Crane, 4 overs, 1 for 27. Another good spell from him. And Ryan Stevenson, 4 overs,